5 eye-opening stats that say you should retire early. Don't be wasting any more time. Guys, I don't know where you are in your retirement journey. If you are 10 years away, 15, if you're already retired, but if you are thinking about retiring, let's say 10, 15 years from now, yeah, it's time that you think about retiring early. For those of you who are already retired, let me know. Leave me comments. Do you wish you would have retired earlier, depending on maybe some of these 5 reasons here? So here you go. Here's number 1 for you. And I got all these from Kiplinger. Our healthy life expectancy, according to the World Health Organization, is only 63.9 years. Okay, what is that? This is the average age you live until you get a chronic disease or significant disabilities. Only 63.9 years. Guys, I'm at 63.2 years right now. And based on the video I put out maybe a week ago about, that 63-year-old man with a brain of an 80-year-old, they may be right. Guys, we don't have that much time. Past, in this case, the 63, I'd say past 60, to still live a happy, active, healthy lifestyle with all of our functioning, right? Retiring early increases that time, your go-go years. It'll increase them, not exponentially, but maybe it'll double them if you retire really early. So there's only so much time that we have. Yes, of course, you hear about the outliers. Oh, he was 89, still running marathons and, doing calculus in his head. Yeah, that's not most of us, right? So according to the World Health Organization, we only have 63.9 years. That's the average before things start happening to us that may make it harder to do the things we want to do in retirement, right? Hey, for those of you who see me for the first time, speaking of that video I put out a week ago about getting old, can't even talk. My name is Duane, and this is a retirement channel for people on moderate income. If you think you might like that, think about subscribing and like the video. And if you really like it, down here are 2 other ways you could support me and this channel. Number 1, you can either buy my new book, a dark comedy / light horror novel called The Monster Who Loves Me, about a serial killer who falls in love. Or you can buy me a coffee. So here's number 2. Most people don't make it to full retirement age. What is full retirement age? Sometimes it's a little confusing, depending on what you're talking about. In this case, we're talking about the full retirement age of your Social Security benefits. If you were born in 1960 or later, that full retirement age is 67. The average retirement age in the U.S. is 62. For many, health, a sick relative, or layoffs mean that takes them out of work before their full retirement age of 67, okay? I know what happened to me. I wasn't retired yet, but my mom had a stroke. I had to go. Luckily, I was with a company that was very generous. They allowed me, this was before COVID, they allowed me to go up and live in Reno for 9 months so I could take care of her. Yeah, sometimes you don't get that, right? So things like that can totally, if it was an extended thing for me, I might have lost my job. But what are you going to do? You got a sick relative here who needs you. You got a job. Which one are you going to choose? The older you get, that choice may change for you, right? If you're in your 20s or 30s and you're up and comer, career. If you have a sick relative or your job, you may choose your job. If you're in your, let's say, 50s someplace, that thought process may be different. You might be saying, I'm pretty close to retirement anyway, and my mom, in this case, really needs me to help her. Could be a totally different thought process. So just know that most of you will not get to your full retirement age of 67 before retiring. Number 3, the older you get, the more you run the risk of getting laid off. Okay, this happened to me when I was 50, all right? For people 50 plus, just over half will experience a layoff or a job reduction. What is a job reduction? In this case, it's like, Okay, you were working 40 hours in a manual labor place, they cut it to 20. Or, this is another offshoot of that, they could start giving, if you're say 55 and they're trying to phase you out of the company, and believe me, that happens. They might start giving your job, parts of your responsibilities to other younger coworkers who they're paying a lot less, right? In some cases, they try and force you out of your job. Now, I've never been in that situation, but I've heard people talking about it. They start giving them a bunch of more work. They start screwing around with their hours. Instead of having to get there at 9 in the morning, nope, you got to start getting here at 6. They're trying to force you out of the workplace because you are older, they pay you more, and they think they can pay someone a lot less and be more productive there. Okay? So, guys, it happens. I mean, if you get laid off in your 50s, what do you got to deal with? Ageism. When I was 50 after I got laid off, it was hard getting a job. Okay? And even harder getting a job at the same salary that I was making before. My salary, as most of you know, I've mentioned it a couple times in the past, I was making, most I ever made, $75,000 in 2010. Okay? Between that and when I retired in 2021, that salary kept going down and down and down. And so the last job I had before I retired, I was making around 63, 65, something like that. So if you get laid off and you're post 50, that can throw a big wrench into it. So guys, retire early. Get all your ducks in a row. Quack, 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 quacking like they are back. I don't know if you can see them, but there's some out here on the lake and some geese. Get everything ready so you can enjoy this. Enjoy your life, your second life in retirement for as many years as you can. Number 4, your job could be making you sick. One study found that 46% of people said most of their stress comes from work. 77% says stress from work negatively impacted their mental health. Oh, can I relate to this? Ever since I retired, I've battled with depression and anxiety off and on since I was 15. Working, depending on the job, when I was at my music career, for the most part, no, didn't affect me that way. But other jobs, it affected me this way. Stress, stress, stress. And you put on top of that, you don't enjoy the job or the industry you're in. Depression, anxiety. And I've always had trouble with sleep until retirement. Now in retirement, not experiencing that. This is the longest period of time that I have been, let's say, in a good state of mind mentally that I can remember. So a lot of that for you, which happened to me, most of your stress comes from work. How about that Sunday night, the Sunday night scaries when you're laying in bed, it's 3 a.m. and you can't get to sleep because you know what's waiting for you on Monday, right? That's not healthy, obviously, right? So you're looking at the clock, it's 3 a.m., you look at the clock, it's 3:30, and you know you're going to be screwed because you got to wake up in 3 hours and you got to function on 3 hours sleep, which makes it even harder to get to sleep, right? So stress in the job place can be making you sick. Stress causes all kinds of physical health issues, anxiety, depression. Not just those, but we're talking actual physical issues, high blood pressure. People are just like going like this all day long because of what they're doing at work. Yeah, it's a big one. And number 5, this is a sobering statistic for you. We spend 90,000 hours or 1/3 of our life working. Is that stat right? 90,000 hours, right? Or 1/3 of our life working. Don't you want to cut that back some, guys? Don't you want to be prepared to retire early? So maybe not 90,000, maybe it might be 80,000, 83,000 hours working. Maybe not 1/3 of your life, but maybe closer to a 1/4 of your life. Well, you'd have to retire really early for that. So guys, those are just 5 eye-opening stats that should convince some of you, if you're able to make the shift now. Let's say you're 45. I have viewers in their late 20s. Start doubling down on that savings. Increase that what you're putting into your 401k or whatever you're saving towards. Instead of 6%, make it 10%, make it 12%. Will it be painful at first? Maybe, until you adjust to it. That's why it's very important to have flexible expenses. If there's something you need to do, you can be flexible on it. Cut back on certain things, certain subscriptions, certain, streaming services that you don't really need, so you can save more, so you can retire early and have a lot better retirement than you could have ever hoped for if you didn't start doubling down on things. And as always, for me and that noisy powerboat, where is he? Can't even see him, probably across the lake. We got this.